What's up, fight fans? We had quite a few fights this weekend, but I mainly want to talk about the Charlo brothers who debuted their Fox platform this last weekend. You had Jermell Charlo fighting Matt Korobov at a 160. Korobov was a step in because his original opponent failed the PED test. You know what I mean, Monroe. So William Monroe failed his PED test. So he's taking that funny medicine to make him stronger, you know what I'm saying? And you can't do that in boxing. And we had Jermell fighting Tony Harrison for the 154 title. I mean, with 154, kind of a setup fight. We learned a lot about the Charlo brothers in this fight. I'm going to go ahead and Jermell Charlo at 154. I don't want to say he got robbed, but I mean, I saw him winning that fight 2 or 3 rounds at least. So, I mean, you never know what these judges are going to look at. And we know that boxing can be funny like that. That's just what it is. And, so, Tony did have that sharp jab, and he was missing a lot of those shots that Jermell was coming at him. But I think he did enough to win the fight. But what we learned about that is that Jermell, man, he might not be as, elite as we thought. And I'm not saying he's not going to be elite. He just needs a little bit more work. And he's going to have to come back and, eat some humble pie and come back and take care of Tony Harrison before he wants to fight Jarrett Hurd. Right now, he's the other 154-pounder who's making real noise and real sound in his weight division. And Jarrett Hurd knocked out Tony Harrison. So, the Charlos, I want to see them. I'm originally from Houston. I want to see these guys really make a name for themselves, but they might be barking too much. They might be making too much noise, and they need a little bit more work. I think after this debut, these guys are set up fights. These opponents are set up fights. They're both coming off long layoffs. And it is what it is, man. I mean, I'm not hating on them. I like the Charlos. They're cool. I like their attitude, even though a lot of people don't like their attitude because they're kind of mean and kind of a cocky, which I like, because it's an ego sport. Jermell Charlo fought Korobov. He was supposed to fight Monroe, but, again, he failed the PED test. And so now he had to fight another Russian who gave him a fight, man. And honestly, I saw that fight at least a draw, but whatever, you got one card where I thought somebody else won, and you got another card where I thought it's just boxing, that does happen. What do we learn about Jermall, man? That he, he's powerful, he's a physical specimen, but he didn't really he adapted at the end somewhat, but man, he's calling up these big fights like Canelo and all them, and after seeing him in this performance, I'm not so sure he's ready for that. And to all those, who don't understand boxing, you got to bring some value and something to a big mega fight so you can equate the equity of what the fight's going to generate money-wise. You know what I'm saying? You can't just have one superstar bring in all the loot, all the audience and the viewers, and you're going to come in and try to bite off of that and then increase your net worth because you're associated yourself with a big fighter like Canelo. That happened in the Mayweather era. Everybody wanted a piece of Mayweather, but we all know that you can't just, an Antonio Margarito who hadn't made his name can't just fight a Floyd Mayweather, because Floyd was the money man, and so he had to earn his keep and bring his worth up. And I think the Charlos still need to bring their worth up. I think we learned they're not ready for the huge fights yet, but I think with this experience, I think they're gonna grow. But I mean, they might not be the boogeyman that everyone thought. Again, I like the Charlos, but I like to keep it real. I don't like to be all fanboy about anyone, and we'll see what happens. And another thing too, just to close off my thoughts, man, maybe the PBC might not want to double-header both the Charlo brothers on one card, man. I think that's not a good move. I think that's not a good business move, because if one loses, what if they had back-to-back losses? It's almost like their net worth doubles. It goes double negative, in this case, and then one can be affected psychologically. So I don't think that's a good idea, in the future for these guys to be doing that. But that's my opinion. Again, both guys fought good. The guys who were, Korobov and Harrison, they fought pretty solid. But again, man, I don't know how Jermall, 160 Jermall, is gonna do against the Danny Jacobs, Saunders, or Canelo. Man, we don't know this, and maybe that now these performances are out. Maybe they are gonna get the big fights because they don't seem to be that much of a big threat and low reward, and that's a part of the boxing equation, guys. It's not so much that anyone's afraid. We hear all these other fanboy YouTube videos saying, "Oh, he's afraid," and the black fighter doesn't get the opportunity, and all this stupid commentary. What it all boils down to is one color, and that's green. It's all about the money. That's what it's all about. And obviously there's some honor in fighting because it's an ego sport, but the business side, that's what promoters are meant to do. These guys will get in with anyone, but they got to build a brand, and once they got the brand built, you can't just bring in, if you got this fancy restaurant, where you have high-end people, coming in to eat, you got a dress code, you got to make it, you got to be the part, you got to have enough to pay the bill, to participate in that level of game. And that's the whole thing when you want to fight big fighters like Anthony Joshua, like Canelo, and these other up-and-coming stars. You got to have that status, man, before getting it in there. That's the fight game. And the Floyd Mayweather perfected that. He's the one that gave us the blueprint for the boxers and the boxing community to understand how it works. It sometimes benefits the fans and sometimes it doesn't, but that's what we have right now. So anyway, make some comments on the bottom, man. See what you think. See what your take is. See if you thought the Charlos got robbed, or at least Jermell got robbed, and if you think that Korobov got robbed, or that was a fair boxing card that they gave him, or the score, right? All right, man, I'm out. Hope you enjoy this take, and I'll be dropping some more videos when I have time. I haven't had time at all, but hopefully, with all these stupid YouTube channel, boxing channels making these dumb takes about boxing, man, I don't like it. I might have to start, representing and putting my thoughts out there. But anyway, leave some comments, man, subscribe.